You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello, and welcome to episode 250 of the Rusted Robot Podcast for Sunday, July the 7th, 2019.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations.
I am Locutus, a Borg.
You're like a machine underneath, right? But sort of alive outside?
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
I'm an android.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Counterfeit, facsimile, replica.
We need some sort of robot. Ah, crap! I'm some sort of robot.
Howdy, gang. It's your host, Duncan Ramsey, Harold Chestman, and
Rusty Shackelford.
And we're here to entertain the heck out of you here on episode 250. Can you believe it, guys? 250, and it's time to change our names.
Who would know that we'd have to enter witness protection program so early?
Who knew? Just kidding. I'm Sean, that's Josh, and this is Kitty. We're just pretending to be somebody else because we can.
Also, that would be terrible. Could you imagine going into witness protection program and you're still on the same podcast? You just have different names now, and they'd be like, oh, these are their new names.
That's it, yeah. Dedicated listeners got to keep going, even if it's if we're on the run.
See, the thing is, though, it's an anonymous podcast, so they don't see us. So if we went into witness protection, we could keep our original names and still podcast.
People have seen Sean.
Yes, but if we go into witness protection, they'd move us to a town where he's never been.
Like Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, and I'd have to get a new shop.
No, you wouldn't be able to run a comic book shop.
You had to do something.
What? Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh.
They don't let you work in the same industry.
You could be a lawyer.
Ugh.
No, it has
Who
to be
sells comics?
No, you can't sell comics.
Oh.
Because they'd recognize you in the industry.
Wait, you sell comics?
I do.
Where?
38 Pine Street North, Timmins, Ontario. It's called Jump City.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's in the basement of the 101 Mall.
Oh, nice. I've been there before. So, last week we didn't record an episode, but surprise, surprise, there was an episode put out last week.
Yes, it surprised me.
I thought it might, because I didn't tell you about it.
No.
And I just want to give big thanks to our good friend Daniel Peter Hitch.
Hello, I'm Daniel Peter Hitch, author of the Connected Worlds Chronicles and the Bubbles the Pirate children's book series. You're listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
For giving us that review of what we left behind. You listened to the whole episode, or part of it, or some of it?
I listened to part of it before I had to do stuff.
Ah, okay.
You've been digging a trench.
Yes, you have been digging a water trench in your backyard. But for Dan, he gave two reviews of the movie. He gave a quick spoiler-free review, and then I put a podcast promo between that and the spoiler-filled review. I listened to the whole thing, and I really want to see that movie, the documentary about Deep Space Nine. Sounds quite fun.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy it. It's not for me.
But my friend, when it comes out, I'm going to get it, and we're going to watch it together, and then do our own little mini review on an episode of Rusted Robot Podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How long is it?
I don't know. I know it comes out August 6th. So it's only a month away.
Ooh.
Yeah. So today, as we're recording this, is July 6th, and I was looking on Facebook, and two friends of mine, or two different couples, got married on this day 17 years ago, but not to each other.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give a big happy anniversary shout out to Dave and his wife Erin, and also to Heather and Johan for 17 years marriage. And I point that out so that I can post this episode on their Facebook walls. Haha.
Happy anniversary, you guys.
And today, as this comes out on July 7th, it's my baby mama's birthday. So Bishop's mom. So happy birthday to Trish.
I like the name Johan.
I like the name Johan too. It is a good name.
You can use that for a D&D character.
You should. All right, so now down to this week's business. It's episode 250. That's a big milestone. We should give ourselves pats on the back. Good job, guys.
For 300, can we get cake? We keep saying we're going to get cake, and then we don't get cake.
You know what? I come to your house every Saturday to record this. You can provide cake anytime you'd like.
I know, but I forget what episode it is.
It doesn't matter. Just have cake.
Just have cake all the time?
Just have cake anytime. Anytime is okay for cake.
Okay.
But remember,
the
cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie?
Yeah.
Why?
That's a video game reference.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played that video game.
Portal.
Oh, I haven't played Portal.
Ah.
I don't have the system for it.
Oh. Anyway, last week was Canada Day weekend. I took my brother Robin out to the zoo so he could see his kids and stuff, and I got to visit my friends Andrew and Diana. And they have a daughter, and she's 8, and she's super into Lord of the Rings. So
that's good.
Yeah, I thought so too. So I'm sitting there on the couch just talking to the parents, and she comes out and she says, "Hey, Dad, can I show Sean my picture?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So she comes out with a signed, framed Lord of the Rings picture with 2 of the characters that I guess she had picked up at a convention. She shows it to me, puts it in my hands, and I'm like, "That's awesome. Can I have it?" She's like, "No." So I was like, "Well, I'll give you my precious, because I'm wearing a Lord of the ring, just because I had one, so I thought I'd wear it." And she's like, "No, I've already got one." And I'm like, "Well, you don't have a black one." She's like, "No, I'm going to keep my picture."
Yeah.
So I didn't get a framed, signed Lord of the Rings picture. It was very sad.
I'm scamming 9-year-old?
8.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8-year-old?
I tried.
She sounds smart. I like
She
it.
is. She's a cute kid. That's little Andy. She's a super fan of all kinds of stuff because her dad is super geeky, and he's the one that actually got me into collecting Star Trek figures.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I had to have more than him. Because I was a competitive little kid.
I just finally found my Star Trek figures.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, where are they?
They are downstairs in my laundry room right now.
Oh.
But they were on a bookshelf where I kept all of my important stuff from when I got married, and they got put in there somehow, and it turns out that's where they've been for years.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I'm very pleased.
I guess so.
I have Picard and Data in their gangster attire.
Ah, yes.
From the holodeck.
Right.
That's some of my favorite episodes.
Dixon Hill.
Picard is Dixon Hill.
Yeah.
I have that figure as well. He came with a gun, a telephone, and a lamp.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
From what I remember.
It would have been fun if he came with a desk.
Yeah, that would have been too big for the package.
Oh. The big desk package.
The big desk package. The special playset from Playmates from 1995. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And it should come, of course, with his secretary, Gloria.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Right?
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Voice action recording. That'd be great.
They did have some Space Talk action figures, actually. There was a Riker, a Picard, and a Q, at least. And I think I have Picard.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. They had 5 or 6 different phrases. I have too much stuff.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I can never have too much stuff.
Do you have a house?
I do have a house.
Do you have enough space to display it?
If I had shelves, I would.
Yeah, that's what
Start
you need.
building
You need
shelves.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of shelves, I was measuring my basement room where I have my podcast recording equipment. There's a perfect wall for a shelf wall. So.
Oh, okay. For a shelf wall.
For a shelf wall.
I thought you were just going to put one shelf.
Not
and
one
I was
shelf.
Like, that's lame.
No, the whole
One
wall.
shelf.
The whole wall is going to be shelf from floor to ceiling and wall to wall.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're going to run LEDs on the bottom of the shelves so stuff gets lit up underneath?
I could probably do that.
I really think you should do that with your crazy mirror wall.
Yeah, that's my dining room right now.
Yeah.
Mostly just storage, because who has a kitchen table? Well, you guys do, because we're recording on it. But I went to the brick warehouse store to buy a kitchen table, and they said, "You don't need one. Nobody eats at the kitchen table anymore." I'm like, okay.
That's really bizarre. Why would...
The salesman told me...
salesperson.
Yeah, the salesman told me I didn't need one.
They have a beautiful, beautiful 1950s vintage kitchen table and chair set at 3R Recycling.
Really?
It's so nice. The edges are chrome.
Ooh.
Also, the chair legs are chrome.
Oh.
It's really nice.
Yeah?
They're upholstered like an old car, kind of.
Okay, right on.
They have the V.
And it's there right now?
Yeah.
Oh, how much?
$550.
Oof, ouch.
But it's for like all four chairs and the table that has a leaflet, and it's got the original, the weird tabletop, with all the weird shapes on it.
Well, yes.
Yeah. It's so nice. I really want it, but we already have a kitchen table, and it's a little bit bigger than that kitchen table. And we need the space for playing these giant board games that we have.
So the one at the store is bigger?
No, this one is bigger.
The table that we're recording on is
Otherwise, bigger. I would ask for that one, because these chairs are falling apart and we need new chairs.
Oh.
But we also need more than 4 chairs.
Right, of course.
But I really still want this table.
I bet you do. It sounds awesome. I might have to go check it out and not buy it.
It's black and white and chrome.
Oh, that would actually go very well in my vintage-looking house.
It really would. It's super nice. And $550 is not bad, considering how sturdy it is.
Right. And if it's vintage.
It is vintage. It's hella nice.
It's not repro.
Yeah, it's original, yeah.
It's original. Neat. So we were talking about Star Trek action figures. And that's a great transition into the brief amount of Star Trek news that we have for this week. The Picard series is coming out.
Oh, yes.
The showrunner for that recently announced as Michael Chaban, the author. Never heard of him?
Nope.
Oh.
I don't remember people's names all the time.
Well, he is an American novelist and short story writer born May 24th, 1963. His first novel, The Mysteries of Pittsburgh, was published in 1988 when he was only 25. He was the guy who wrote Wonder Boys, that became a movie with Michael Douglas.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
He also published The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which you might have heard about. No? He won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 2001.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's been around. He's pretty famous. I haven't read anything that he's written, but he's going to be the showrunner for the Picard series.
What are they? Are they just like sci-fi fiction?
No, looks like just general fiction.
It's like literary works, like not just genre fiction.
Okay,
like
a lot of the stuff that I read is genre fiction, so that's probably just why.
Right, yes. Yep, so that's pretty cool, and that's pretty much the only Star Trek news that we have this week.
What about your thing about the DS9?
What about the DS9 thing?
DS9. Oh, okay. You already talked about it.
Yeah, that was when we thanked Dan for providing us with information for last week
right.
for a surprise bonus episode.
Yes, I remember.
You remember? It was only like 6 minutes ago, or something.
Kate is not doing well today.
No, you're under the weather, I hear.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with life.
Yeah.
My body doesn't like doing living things.
But you'll be okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or not, and then the suffering will be over.
Well,
we'll see.
At least you're positive about it.
Yeah. We already have a trench. Just go and lie down in it.
Yes. So that's what you did last week when not recording a podcast. You have a back house, and it has a bad water line.
Yeah, so we're going to put a new water line.
So you had to dig a 6-foot deep trench from your house to that house so the plumber can come.
Yeah. We are almost done with that.
That's good.
Actually, it's kind of a fun story. So we hit this big clay patch.
Ooh.
And the clay had been fired into rectangular bricks. And put together as a chimney and then knocked over into the hole and buried.
Right where you needed it to be.
Right where we needed it to be.
Like literally the whole length.
It was exactly as wide as we needed it to be, and it ran the entire length.
You know what? That's funny, and that's happened to me before. I once tried to dig a hole in my front yard to plant a tree, and right where I dug the hole, there was like a patio stone 6 or 8 inches down. Nowhere else in the yard, but
just right there.
But just right there.
This seems like a good spot for a tree.
Yeah.
Oh, turns out somebody else put a patio stone here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then we also found where the old outhouse used to be.
Outhouse.
Yeah.
Our back house was made in the 1920s.
1922 was when it was built.
Oh, that's old.
And you can tell that the bathroom on that house is an addition.
Yes.
So I said they must have had an outhouse. And while we were digging, we found it.
You found poop?
It's long since gone. But we found a bunch of really neat antique bottles.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, people used to throw all their trash in there, too.
Yes, of course, yes. Were they still intact?
Yes, they are, and we are going to keep them for Mina's Evil Potions collection.
That's very cool.
And 2 of them are worth $50 each, so we might sell them. They are root beer extract from, I think it was, like, Philadelphia or something? Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, because I've heard of that before. People go digging for old outhouses and find all the treasures and sell them.
Oh, and we also found 2 marbles.
Oh, neat. And I hope you washed everything thoroughly.
Yeah.
All the human waste is long since decayed.
Well, sure, but still.
Well, like, some of the bottles are still, like, out on the back steps just because I haven't brought them in.
Oh.
I'm not washing anything yet.
Okay.
We still have to dig a hole.
That's true. You guys are busy. Right on. Hey, did you hear that, what's his name, Sylvester Stallone has an idea for Expendables 4?
Ugh. Okay. Expendables 1. A fun, kind of nifty idea. Expendables 2. Kind of stretching the idea. Expendables 3. Okay, you've stretched it and it snapped. Stop doing this.
Well, the only... I shared the article on our Facebook page for the Rusted Robot podcast. And all it says is that he was watching the fireworks on July 4th. And he's like, I should do an Expendables 4. And that's pretty much it. That's the only news. It doesn't say who's in it, if he started writing it, what the casting... Great. Yeah, it's just, I think we should do another one.
I really, really liked...
More likely, he was looking at his bank account going, should probably do another one.
What was R.E.D.?
Red?
Yeah.
That had John Malkovich in it.
I really liked that one.
Yeah.
I don't think they could do like another one, but I really liked that.
They did 2 of them.
Yeah, I know.
There was Red and Red 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They'll do a 3rd one called Red also.
Also red.
Also Red. Yeah. Red again. Yeah.
Redder.
Redder than before.
That's right. They could do all kinds of things.
That was a fun couple of movies, though.
That was a fun couple of movies. I believe it had Helen Mirren in it.
Yeah.
John Malkovich, and I don't remember who else.
God.
Who?
God.
God was in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that guy who's always God, Morgan Freeman. He's God now. He's played God enough times that he just is that now. Anytime anybody says, "I heard the voice of God," I imagine it's Morgan Freeman's voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that works. Yeah.
It's a good voice. He has a good voice.
It is a very good voice. Everybody wants him to narrate their life.
Yeah.
But nobody's life is that exciting, so...
He made penguins exciting.
Well,
he did make penguins exciting.
Penguins are exciting regardless.
That's true, they are.
Yes.
They might be smarter than people.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're definitely smarter than some of them.
Yes. I've met a lot of people in my day.
Yeah.
And I haven't met any penguins, but I imagine they're smarter.
I met 2.
Yeah?
One bit me.
Oh.
Genius.
Very nice.
It was at the zoo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what I did in the last couple weeks is I created a couple new podcast promos.
Ooh.
One for the Rusted Robot podcast and another one for Soulforge podcast, which I also host because...
You host a second podcast?
I do.
What is it about?
What's about life, the universe, and everything.
Ooh.
Any topic goes, and we've talked about all kinds of stuff. And you can find it at soulforgepodcast.com, as well as iTunes and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts.
Now, is that one also a member of the ESO network?
As a matter of fact, it is. It's the non-geeky token show on the ESO network.
The non-geeky token show.
Mm-hmm. That's what I call it anyway.
That's great.
Yeah, because for June, our homework was to create new promos so that we don't have
the same promos
for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we should do actually is play a promo for another podcast here on the ESO network, just so we know what that new podcast promo sounds like.
Howdy! DragonCon 2019 is fast approaching, so fill up your buckets of rum and keep up with the latest news, announcements, interviews, and mispronunciations of guest names as only the Khan Report podcast crew can make. Let us be your guide each month as we count down to the big event on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite media player. Listen to the DragonCon Khan Report. It's almost as good as being there, but without the long lines, smelly gamers, and hangovers.
Pretty good. A little bit similar to their last promo, but new and fresh.
Snazzy.
Well, it's got to be similar because you want to keep the same branding.
Exactly.
It's got to be new enough to draw in the fresh people.
Yes. You always want to get fresh listeners. That's true.
That is true.
Yeah. What do you guys think about podcasting? You like it?
I like it.
Yeah, it could go one way or another.
Yeah? Well, I understand that. Actually, Robin and I, on our way back from Sault Ste. Marie last weekend, we talked about starting up a new podcast. But I'm like, I already do 2, I can't.
You can do 3, Sean.
I don't think I could do 3.
You can do a podcast a day.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't want to.
Seven podcasts, right?
If I didn't have a full-time job, I would do that.
Actually, have you ever done one of your Soulforge podcasts about podcasting and all that goes into it?
As a matter of fact, that was about 4 episodes ago.
Yeah?
I called it Want to Start a Podcast. And, actually, I'm not sure if I can say this or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. Our good friend Daniel Peter Hitch, he's starting his own podcast because he was inspired by the Soulforge podcast episode about starting your own podcast.
That's pretty cool.
So once he gets that up and running, we're going to do a bunch of crossovers and have him on the Soulforge to promote it and maybe do a little mini thing here on Rusted Robot. And we'll be on his show and it'll be all great. It'll be crossovers everywhere.
Neat.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
Yeah. You know what I should do for our listeners?
Because there's not enough podcasts out there.
There's really not. I know. You can never have
Doesn't almost everybody do a podcast or at least attempt one at some point?
There are a lot, yeah.
But most of them fade away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people get all excited about it and then...
They don't have the dedication to stay with it.
But a lot of work goes into it too, though. Like, it takes a lot of editing and...
Well, it depends on how you do it.
You need equipment.
You can just run it raw. A lot of people run it raw.
I don't like that. I spend up to 2 to 3 hours editing each episode of Rusted Robot, getting rid of the ums and the ahs, putting in little sound clips.
Hi, this is Cena Grace, the artist of The Little Depressed Boy, and you are listening to the Rusted Robot podcast.
Yeah.
Putting in promos, putting in the bumpers and all the things.
You got pretty fancy equipment. Got a nice little microphone, and a microphone stand, and one of those screen dealies to keep cracking from voices and stuff.
This is not an expensive microphone, but you can range up to the thousands. But it serves our purpose for an independent podcast.
It's pretty cool.
Well, thanks. I do what I can.
So I hear we have some communications.
As a matter of fact, we do have some cool feedback from our good buddy, Richard from Australia. And so I should read it.
Now, I hear we have 2 sets of communications.
Also from Richard from Australia. And I messaged him on Facebook there not too long ago, and I said, you know what, I want to have you on the Soul Forge podcast. I got the perfect title for that episode. I'm going to call it Richard from Australia. So, anyways, you remember a few weeks ago, we did episode 247.
47.
47.
Okay. And he had some comments on that. So
excellent.
Let me just read that to you here. Comments on episode 247. You guys asked about degrees in Australia. I do not have a master's degree, and I got my bachelor's at a regular university. But distance learning is a real thing, and I know people who absolutely do much of their coursework online. I am not sure if higher degrees are conferred, but I don't see why not. As for why no high-speed mass transit in places like Canada or Australia for that matter, versus somewhere like Japan or even China, high-speed trains are everywhere, such as the line into Tibet and etc. One big reason is population density or lack of it. I mean, there's little population to support these efforts, the cost, etc. to deploy. Compare with Japan, where millions use the system, and China, where there are millions to transport around the large country, then investing in this kind of infrastructure makes a lot more sense and is more cost-effective to do so. Also, I have been to Toronto and I liked it.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
I'm glad you liked going to Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
our provincial capital.
So that was a response actually to when Paul Wright, our UK correspondent, was talking about education of the future and stuff.
Yes. I understand the idea behind, like, it's a low population density, but if you look at the way we are set up, we are really low population density around certain spots, and then pretty high population density. So if we even just connecting the major cities together with high-speed rail.
Yeah, like they could go Toronto to Montreal to Ottawa.
And it would be nice to have stops, because then the people who have very little, because like generally the smaller population you have, the less stuff you have. So it would be sucks that if it just went from big city to big city and left all the small town folk with their small town stuff and they never got to leave unless they hopped in a car, that would be very unfair.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, but the point of high-speed rail is you don't stop. You get up to speed and you go from place to place. So,
but there should be like how we used to have the train station, and it would stop in Porcupine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was comments for episode 247, which we always appreciate our listeners sending in comments.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, because it's very rare when we get comments, so we like it. It's nice. It's good. Then we did episode 248, and we were talking about switching up the format a little bit. You remember that?
Yeah, we talked about maybe
doing some
solidifying segments rather than kind of moseying from one to the other kind of haphazardly without a plan or...
Yeah, any kind of deal.
Or figuring out where you're going to finish saying the
words.
sentence.
Instead of just trailing
off. Because it's nice when you don't know how your sentence is going to end. Like, you know.
Sometimes with an upward inflection.
Right. Like, it sounds like a question, but it's not always. Maybe. Right? So anyway, comments for episode 248 from Richard from Australia. Actually, I wonder if he likes it when I call him Richard from Australia, or should I just call him Rick, Richard?
I know if my name was Richard, I'd like to go by Rich.
Yeah?
I'd like to be rich.
I had an Uncle Richard. I called him Rick, so...
Ah. Not rich?
No.
Oh.
So, everybody has different...
Yeah, but you could have been saying all the time, my uncle's rich.
My uncle's rich.
Yes.
I'm rich. I'd like to introduce myself that way. Hello, I'm Rich.
Yeah. Anyway, back to comments. Rollerball comment. The original was from 1975 with James Caan, and it is a bloody, pun intended, classic story, in my humble opinion. The remake was, like most of them, rubbish and not even worth looking at. The themes of corporates running the planet, sports as war, and the underlying elements of keeping the masses controlled, plus nods to the environment, the control of information and access, and the notion of the few running things are very pertinent right now.
Yep.
You were saying how it was the original in 80-something.
Yeah.
But we didn't look it up.
I was guessing just from
Yeah.
the visualization in the 80s.
Right.
So, late 70s, early 80s.
I still haven't seen the film. But, yeah, I know I should. I know. Anyways. And he goes on. Some thoughts on possible segments for the show, because we were talking about what kind of segments to have. He says, first, I would maybe make the segments irregular, like once a month, or even semi-regular, a bit like Furbob's UK reports. Great production values always, he says. That way, one doesn't have to stress to come up with content every week, or even every other, and thus reduce the quality. But just something to have once a month or every 6 weeks or something, maybe even mix in a variety of segments over time so that you end up having a segment every week. Anyway, some thoughts might be, Josh explains a science thing.
Okay.
So there's that. Katie's Comic Corner, like her news. I like those. Or even spotlight on a comic series or figure she likes or things is very important. Given she's only on every other week anyway, then it definitely wouldn't need to be on all the time.
Yay!
And then he goes on. Josh and Sean's sci-fi fantasy favorite thing. Person, place, example, a planet, a city, a universe, a series, concept, whatever, to have a closer look at. One of you could on occasion pick something and just talk about why you like it or what you think that thing or story or character or place has added to the genre. So I like that idea a lot, actually. He says, what we're watching. Sometimes you mention a show or something that was on, but could maybe expand a bit on. Last week we watched Chernobyl or finished Arrow or whatever. Expand on what we're watching. And he says, I liked Josh's hypotheticals. As a twist, why not pick a random universe from genre and suggest who you might like to be in that universe and why, or pit two against each other. Example, would you rather be in the Alien universe or in the Predator universe? Yes.
They're the same universe.
He says that's what he says. Yes, I know they're the same one, it seems. Or would you rather be like Short Round from Indiana Jones or Twiki from Buck Rogers?
Ooh, no, Short Round, definitely.
Okay.
He's capable.
So that's his segment suggestions, which I thought was great.
Those are pretty good, yeah.
So that's something to definitely think about and incorporate into upcoming episodes.
Didn't we do a thing before? Which one would you rather fight? Alien or Predator?
I think we did
That was one of them.
I think we did RoboCop versus Terminator one time.
He's right. Those are a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So I think we can start doing that.
I think that the segment where Josh explains a science thing, it should totally just be called Josh Explains a Science Thing. I like it.
I like it too.
It is good.
You used to bring a lot more science news to the table there, Josh. You've been slacking in recent months.
Yeah, we live in a hole now.
I heard you've been digging a hole. Yeah.
It has consumed a lot of our lives.
Mm-hmm. So, Stranger Things Season 3 and Jessica Jones Season 3 recently came out on Netflix in the past 2 weeks, and I have not watched either yet.
Nor
What about
have
you guys? No?
No. I haven't watched any of it.
I have been watching Hell on Wheels.
Okay.
Is it good? It looked like it was good.
You know what? I'm only like 8 or 9 episodes in, but the other day, after I got home from work, we started early, so I got done early, because it was so freaking hot. I sat down to the TV, and I think I watched 4 or 5 episodes right in a row.
I think Westerns really fit, like, a very hot day.
That makes sense.
It's probably because everything takes place in a desert.
Yeah. Well, it's in the fields of wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting some breeze coming in, blowing things around. Nice.
Yeah, sorry.
That's good sound effects for the show. It's like ambiance.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Hell on Wheels takes place, I believe, in the 1870s, roughly, somewhere around there. I'm not sure the exact year. I don't even know if they've said. But it's got Chief O'Brien and Captain Pike as the main 2 leads. And they're trying to build a railroad, and there's Indian attacks, and there's backfighting, and everybody lives in kind of like a shanty town.
Everybody's drunk and they shoot each other all the time?
Kinda. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of horse riding. There's a lot of killing.
It looks pretty cool.
There's some liberal use of the N-word.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate to the time frame, but it's kind of shocking in today's world.
Well, I don't know. It depends what kind of music you listen to, Reagan. So.
I don't listen to that kind of music. I listen to podcasts.
I like podcasts.
That's why you're on one.
Depending on the podcast, you get a lot of it too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Probably, eh? I don't listen to those podcasts.
Yeah, I don't listen to those podcasts either, but, they're out there.
I'm sure they are. And they're probably bad.
But yeah, no, I would, even though I'm only maybe 7 or 10 episodes into the series, I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, it looks like it's fun. I like Western stuff.
It's well produced. It's got a good story.
There was a sci-fi Western I was told to watch.
Oh, is it Firefly?
No, but we've seen Firefly and that was pretty good. No, it was a different one. I think they were like robots or something.
Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld. That's it. I heard that's really good.
I think I saw 2 episodes of that.
My sister was watching it. She said it was super good.
Yeah, I heard it's super good too, but I never got back into it or something.
I just have a lack of time.
I think I lost the channel.
Lately, I've been more of a comic reader than...
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of comics have you been reading lately?
Well, one of my friends just recently went down to TCAF, Toronto Comic Arts Festival, and picked me up the second copy of Manfred the Man. This one is called Manfred Saves the Day. The world is like our world, except for all humans are cats.
Right, and people are pets.
Yeah, except what would normally be the cats of that world are tiny men.
Oh.
There are no women men.
Okay.
They're only men.
There's no women men.
Yeah. Okay. Like, there might be, but, like, I guess it's kind of like, you know how you can't tell if a cat is a boy or a girl?
Oh, yes.
It just looks like a cat. So, like, all of the men, they're all men.
Right.
And it's not explained how they would reproduce, and I'm kind of glad they leave that out.
Yeah.
It's just cute and weird. But yeah, they're all tiny men. When they are born, they are not babies. They're
full grown?
I guess. They're like just smaller men. They have shorter beards, and they're generally thinner because they're not out of shape yet.
Okay.
It's like how cats just kind of look like cats still, but smaller versions. Yeah. So they're men, but they're smaller, and they still have beards. They're just shorter beards.
Right.
It's really crazy.
And is this a graphic novel?
Yeah, it's a graphic novel. It started out as a webcomic. You can follow the webcomic online, but those panels are a lot like, they're kind of more like Garfield's, where what happened in the previous panel doesn't necessarily carry on to the next... Strip. Yeah, it doesn't carry on to the next strip. So the books, though, are their own story, and the entire book is not like a collection of Garfields. It is one story. In Manfred the Man, it is the tale of Steve Katzen and how he owns a man, and he's a man enthusiast, and he just like goes through life and learns how to be a better cat and a better man owner.
Okay.
And then in the second one, Manfred Saves the Day. Steve Katzen's got his life more together. He has a girlfriend now. They both volunteer at the man shelter. And they come across a man who's been abandoned. And Manfred actually helps to rescue that man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
at first, though, he's really greedy and selfish and has to learn to get over himself because he has been a single man for a long time. And now he's going to learn to make friends and share his home with a foster man.
Nice.
It is very bizarre.
Is this something you would sell in your comic book shop?
We actually do have it for sale in the comic book shop.
Nice.
I am absolutely in love with this weird series. Everything is very, like, round and soft, and there's very, like, simple colors, almost like cell-style shading. So it's not hyper-detailed, it's just pleasant to look at. And all of the drawings are really plush-looking.
Okay.
I wish I could touch them. I have a very small Manfred Man pin. Like a lapel pin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And if there was a figure, there is only one figure, but you had to, like, enter a draw for it, and I did not win.
Oh.
So it would be super fun.
Yeah, see, that's what the problem is with exclusive edition things. Not everybody gets one. Just like if we were at San Diego Comic-Con in a couple weekends from now, we could get all the exclusive edition Star Trek stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
But we can't because we won't be there.
I really don't mind it, though, because this person is an individual person. And, like, last year when I got the first first graphic novel, you could not purchase it from a large retailer like myself. Because it was independently published.
Ah, yes.
So it's just a small collaboration, and they've become a big thing in a very short time, and it makes me very happy.
Well, it sounds cool.
They deserve good things.
It sounds like something I would like to read.
It's very strange. I like it a lot.
I bet.
You'd probably like it.
Probably would. If I ever got around to reading some comics that I buy from your store, then...
We do have one other one that just came out last week.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Tell me more.
It is...
And while we're waiting, I'm going to play a promo for the Soulforge podcast so our listeners can hear what the new promos sound like. Hey, pardon the interruption, but do you want to learn more about love, lust, sex, anger, happiness, music, time, space, and the human race? I hope you do, because I'm here to beg you to listen to Soulforge podcast. We're your weekly dose of life and living here on the ESO network. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts and soulforgepodcast.com. A proud partner of the Rusted Robot podcast here on the ESO network. Let's find out together. And I hope they like that, and I hope they go check out Soulforge. Why don't you tell us what you got last week for comics?
It's Lois Lane, #1.
Really? #1?
Yeah.
It's in your store right now?
Actually, I think we sold it already.
Oh.
I can get in more, but they just relaunched, or rather, they just launched this new
series?
Superman-related comic book. It is with Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber bringing a brand new Jimmy Olsen series to shelves on this July, and Greg Rucka and Mike Perkins are doing the same, but with Lois Lane, which was just released this last Wednesday.
So Lois Lane was just released, but they're also doing a Jimmy Olsen one.
Yeah, I'm super excited about the Jimmy Olsen one, because in the old ones, he used to get into all kinds of crazy trouble, and Superman would have to come and save him. And he was always getting into all kinds of crazy things. There was one where he was even evil for a little bit and was leading a rebellion against Superman. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with that. But in this Lois Lane one, she's a journalist, a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter for the Daily Planet, as her character always has been. Mm-hmm. And the Gotham Central and Detective Comics writer uses that as a platform to show readers a new side of the character, or at least one that tends to get overlooked in most Superman books.
Huh.
It's scathing, atmospheric, and charming, all in one, and it even sees Rucka return to one of his favorite characters. Doing so restores a glimmer of an old thread from pre-Flashpoint continuity, and also provides a new twist on an old hero's legacy.
Neat.
Yeah.
That does sound like a fascinating read.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It kind of looks like a noir detective comic.
Yeah.
But like Lois has always taken a lot of things into her own hands, so she's not really the type of person to just collect information and write it down.
She's not a damsel in distress.
No, yeah. She would often hit people with things, and when they were down, then she'd run away. Because, she did have to go to safety, and she's not stupid, so she's not just going to hang around. The only time she ever got captured was often because there was way too many people, and she just was overzealous at getting the story,
right,
and put herself in too much danger, and then couldn't get away. But she's not helpless.
No,
it's just that she's overly motivated to get her story,
as one would be.
Which is why she wins the Pulitzer Prize.
Of course, just like Michael Chaban, the new showrunner for Star Trek Picard.
Yes.
See how I tied it all together?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I see how you have done that.
So before we get on to our big topic, the Spider-Man Far From Home review, is there any other news we should bring up? You said there was a trailer or a rumor of something about Charlie's Angels. Was the trailer released?
There's a trailer released for the new Charlie's Angels movie that's coming out.
Have we watched the trailer?
We have not watched the trailer.
Should we watch the trailer?
I'm not a big fan.
I really like Charlie's Angels. It's ridiculous, but I haven't seen the trailer.
The only thing I know about it is that they're going to have a bunch of different Bosleys, the guy who gives them the mission reports, and Picard, what's his name? Patrick Stewart is going to be one of them. There's 3 Bosleys, and I think Elizabeth Banks is the director of the thing, and she's going to be one of the Bosleys as well.
Interesting.
And I know nothing else about Charlie's Angels because I never watched the series.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's kind of...
I think I watched the first Drew Barry remake movie.
Yeah, that one was 90s, a lot of fun. I like that one.
That's all I've seen. So we're not going to watch the trailer?
Nah.
Okay, and we're not going to play it here because we haven't seen it.
No.
Hey, podcast fans, Spotify is making it easy for you to stream this podcast and many others like it on your mobile device, desktop app, and smart speaker. Open the app on your mobile device or desktop, click on the browser channel, then click on the podcast section. You'll be able to stay thoroughly entertained during your commute to work, your drive home, and your downtime, thanks to Spotify.
There's also the new Jumanji's coming out.
Is that right? They're making another one.
They're making another one, apparently.
Is it going to have The Rock in it again?
Yep.
Oh, neat.
It's got the same cast as last time.
Okay. Oh, so it's connected to the last one.
It's the same cast as the last one. It's Next Level, it's called. Jumanji Next Level, because the last one was based on a video game.
Maybe I should watch that one then. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we should watch it.
I know,
it looks good.
I know my son Bishop watched it at the theater with his class.
Oh, yeah?
And he absolutely loved it. Speaking of Bishop, you can hear him on the latest episode of the Soul Forge podcast talking about, I did it in 2 parts, before his graduation / grade 8 school trip, talking about what he was looking forward to. And then he went on the stuff, did the graduation, and then I recorded him again for the second half, mashed them together, made a whole episode out of it, and he is hilarious.
Oh, yeah?
So that is episode 108 of Soul Forge podcast, which is out now and available for your listening pleasure. And you just mentioned I Am Mother.
Yeah.
A recent movie from Netflix.
Yeah.
Which we've all seen. Pretty good.
It is a good sci-fi film.
I liked it a lot. It had robots in it.
Mm-hmm.
It had what we figured was a end-of-the-world apocalyptic scenario. And it was
really well done.
Very atmospheric.
So I only noticed a couple flaws.
Only a couple.
With Mother's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Mother was raising one child at a time.
Yes.
Right? Because she needs to hyper-educate them.
Mm-hmm.
But therein lies a problem with repopulating the species. You can't do it one at a time like that.
That's what I was thinking.
And also, you can't raise them as close siblings. So
yeah, because eventually they're going to need to reproduce, and that's weird.
Yeah. So there's that. There's also so maybe Mother has other facilities where she's teaching other people.
That's what it sounds like.
Which would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in which case, it would be fine to raise a certain amount of them as close siblings anyway.
Yeah, build a cohesive family unit. Mm-hmm. So there's that support system in place.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. And then she just, gets rid of Mother at the end. I'll raise the kids.
Yeah. How are you going to do that?
How are you going to do that in a busted-up facility?
Right.
You just let go a big spoiler for people who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a Netflix original.
It's really good, though.
It is. Yeah.
People should watch it. It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, I recommend it. So let's do a quick talk here about Spider-Man Far From Home.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching, because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer. Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What?
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work, because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks? What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo's. Oh!
I think MJ really likes me.
That reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, we may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Oh my God.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You're going to step up or not?
legit!
Who are you?
I work with Spider-Man.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
I thought you took her.
No, Shane took me.
Oh, Shane took you. Oh boy, there's going to be some spoiler talk here, Katie.
Of course there is.
There's not going to be any spoiler talk. I'm not going to reveal anything that Katie wouldn't know from just knowing Spider-Man and the characters.
That's true. That's true.
You sure you're not gonna let loose the big ending like you just did with Mother?
How Spider-Man saves the day?
No.
That's going to happen.
Oh.
Because it's a comic book movie. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
And the title character is Spider-Man, so yeah, he saves the day.
Yeah. Well, I would assume that, but like, there's certain ways that you can go about it without making it a spoiler.
Yes. So, you went and saw it?
I went and saw it last night with Robin and Cheryl.
Okay. I went to saw it on release.
On the Tuesday.
Okay. It's really good.
Yeah, we got out of the thing, and I'm like, I don't know what rating to give it, and Robin's like, oh, it's so good, I'd like give it a 9.5. I'm like, well, I might give it a 9.5, I might give it an 8.5, a 9, I don't know. Cheryl's like, really, you guys? I would have given it a 7. So I'm like, it's better than a 7. Not quite as good as Endgame, I don't remember what I gave that, but it was decent, it was a good movie.
So, you can't take into account since you're leaving the theater, you gotta remember that.
That's what I said. I said I can't really tell because I haven't digested it yet.
Yeah, so you gotta walk away.
Yeah.
Before you give it a review, because you're going to give it that higher numbers right after the experience.
So you've had 5 days to think about it.
I have. So I'm putting it at a solid 8.5.
Okay.
That is my.
I would go with that.
There are a few issues with just the way it's paced. Yeah. Other than that is my complaint. Josh's complaint for this movie is a slight issue with the way it's paced.
It was a little bit slow in the middle.
Yeah. That's it. That is my complaint.
But holy Iron Man Tony Stark overload reference. Like, it was pretty much an Iron Man movie. Without Iron Man in it. But he was, kind of. With flashbacks and stuff.
It was based around
his...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the seminal event in the entire series where things happen.
The Endgame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal.
Well, of course it was, and I'm glad they did it. It was just, I didn't expect that many references going in.
That makes sense. If you've watched like the cartoon or followed the comic, like he kind of idolized him. He was like a father figure, like another father figure.
Mm-hmm. So, not a spoiler unless you don't know anything about Spider-Man. So if you don't know anything about Spider-Man, 1, how'd you find us? Skip ahead to whatever time code Sean slaps in here. Okay, so I kept waiting. I'm like, okay, when is Mysterio going to turn? When are we going to see the Mysterio turn?
Yeah.
We know he's a villain.
Yes.
We know he's a shuckster.
Mm-hmm.
When does he turn? When does he turn?
Yeah, they carried it on for quite a while.
Actually. Quite some time they carried it on.
Yeah.
And I kept going, like, alright, is it now? Are they going to give a hint now? They didn't give any hints until it was ready.
Yep.
And I was like, alright.
Good job.
You kept me interested in it.
Golf clap.
Yeah, no,
but it was in that slow middle that...
Right, yes.
I was like, If it wasn't for the Mysterio, I'd be completely bored in that section. So that's why I didn't get it perfect.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Your perfect's only a 9?
A 9.5 is as high as I'll ever give. And a point...
Oh, no, you're like one of those teachers. There's like, nobody gets 100% even though you
There is no such thing as a perfect movie, and if there's motion, you can't get a 0. If there's no motion in your movie, then you get a 0. Because I've seen movies like that, where it's just a series of stills. I'm like, this isn't a movie.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
Even stop animation goes fast enough to give you the sense of movement.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and like,
the point of it.
To get a 0, you have to have like a terrible writing, terrible plot, with huge plot holes, and have no motion in it. Because if you got motion... You get a 1.
It's still a movie.
Because you put an effort in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the lowest I will ever give is a 0.5, and the highest I'll ever give is a 9.5. There's no such thing as a perfect movie.
Okay. I'll go with that. So yeah, good movie. Great effects. Lots of action. Lots of little intimate, cute moments. Lots of Tony Stark references. The acronym for the special pair of glasses was super awesome. Edith. Mm-hmm. I love that. I won't say what the acronym stands for in case people haven't seen Endgame.
Yeah.
And have managed to avoid spoilers for 3 months. but it's awesome.
That is their superpower, the ability to avoid spoilers.
Exactly. 2 end credit sequences.
Yep.
There's 2 of them? That's cool.
One at the very, very end, and one just after the funky credits, before the black screen credits.
Neat.
You're listening to the Rusted Robot Radio, WBOT.
I like the cameo. I was hoping for one, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. So, if you watch it, when you watch it, and you watch the first end credit, you'll be like, huh, okay, that guy. Awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, glad I went and saw it. It's great. 8.5. I agree.
It's not really a cameo, though, is it?
That's a cameo.
It's not a cameo.
Yeah, it is.
A cameo is generally a non-named character. The character that is cameoed, that's a full-on character. That's who he is in the universe now.
You mean like Hugh Jackman was in that one... Wolverine was in that one...
No, that doesn't count because that's all part of the X-Men universe.
Oh, okay. So like Stan Lee, he does cameos.
Cameo, definition. Short appearances by celebrities, film directors, politicians, athletes, or musicians are common. A crew member of the show or movie playing a minor role can be referred to as a cameo as well, such as Alfred Hitchcock's frequently performed cameos. So I would say that's a cameo.
So like Stan Lee's cameos?
Those are cameos.
Yeah, but okay, like the Stan Lee cameo is he's there, but he's not a named critical character in the universe.
Like you don't know who he is.
It was a cameo, Josh.
I would not say it's a cameo. It's his first appearance as.
But it's not really his first appearance as, is it? Ha.
He's the first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
True enough.
Which is where it counts.
I'm going to call it a cameo, and you're not. And
I am not.
We will leave it at that. It was still awesome regardless.
Yes.
You are agreeing to disagree.
Yes, for sake of...
On what it is.
Yeah.
We both enjoyed it a lot.
It was great. It was fantastic. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, go see it, because that way you'll know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, good show, guys.
Yay!
Yeah. Episode 250. That's a lot of shows.
250.
So once again, listeners, thanks for being proud supporters of the Rusted Robot podcast and coming by week after week. And thank you for your comments, your 5-star reviews in the iTunes store, telling your friends about the show so we can get more listeners. Thanks for all of you who have supported us on PayPal and Patreon. Thanks for 250 amazing episodes, for always being there, for always supporting us, and also for finding us on the YouTube channel under my name, Sean Vanderlo. Subscribe today. And I hope you have a great week. Hope you had a great Independence Day, Americans, and a great Canada Day, Canadians, and all the other people around the world. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy it. And until next time, remember, whatever you're doing today, do it with all the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman t-shirt. You have been listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. To contact the show, email therustedrobot@gmail.com or tweet us at therustedrobot. Join the Facebook page and group, and visit the website at therustedrobot.podbean.com. The Rusted Robot Podcast was put together by Sean and Josh and the Rusty crew. Please remember to check out our other show, the Soulforge Podcast. Visit Jump City Comics in the 101 Mall and leave a glowing review in your chosen podcast app. Thank you, and have a geeky day.
The Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
Captain's on a holiday, first mate's gone away, and Data's on an engineering for repairs. Dr. Crusher's got a cold, Wesley's only 12 years old, and all the other children are mind control. Who will lead the crew? What are we to do when the enemy ship comes into view? When the pressure's on, who will take the con? Mr. Worf will take command. I was hoping for someone else, and I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm afraid for all our lives, and Worf's in charge of the Enterprise. We're to the one who pointed your gun at the view screen, and you tried to stun the grinning image of Q. What were you trying to do? I seem to remember that was you. Mr. Worf, don't get mad. We're glad you're strong and brave, but we we prefer Captain the Fierce the Great. Our standards aren't that high. We only ask that we not die.
I am a Klingon, and in my point of view, it would be dishonorable to cower like the rest of you. I've got the riches of a warrior, I do not fear death. I depose the House of Duras and the flourish of my fat left. I'm Starfleet's only Klingon Lieutenant Commander. I've got 2 dead wives and a son named Alexander. No matter what, I'm equal to the test. I'll kill them all and then I'll maim the rest. So be it Romulan Warbird or a Cardinal Freighter, I'll fire phasers first and ask questions later.
Now the captain's back, things are back on track. Thank God I nearly had a heart attack. Wrecker's back and I managed to survive. Never been so happy to be alive. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, Mr. Worf, and I pray it's okay if I say, Mr. Worf, that although you're as large as a barge, Mr. Worf, it's a good thing you're not in charge.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.